Hello,
Hello, and
everyone,
welcome.
and we're going to say welcome to the Woman's Cave because I don't know, I might actually do what the help panel says. It feels very unnarcissistic. Is unnarcissistic a word? UNNA.
Really, you're just gonna start spelling narcissistic? Like,
Yes.
we all know you right here, Winona. Like, you don't have to explain it
Just
to
because
us.
you didn't know that I was a writer, let me spell it for you.
No, please don't spell it.
And
We'll probably misspell it and then be like, no, well, no, put your stop it.
I was
You're not
about
drinking
to
your
eat
supposed.
I'm still hungry.
No,
I
I don't
eat lunch.
I don't. No. You have
Okay.
to wait for later.
All right,
Like,
all right.
have a modicum of
decorum.
just no.
This is funny
because
because see, like for her to say that, and I went to the finishing school, so it feels odd.
you know, well, no, whatever. Anyway, we wrote literary life guides with pop poetry because no, really, Winona, really, and then yet she dips off, y'all, and to take. Okay, you know what? No more smoothies.
She didn't take my smoothie.
No more smoothie for you. We're done. No more smoothie for you.
Continue.
We really did write some really wonderful words, though, y'all. And I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy if only I were me, a memoir in verse. And I thought I did my journey alone. You can check out all
of the 17. Go ahead. I didn't mean to disturb you. Don't get your ugly face on. I mean, no, your mad face on.
Wow. Wow.
All right.
And see, I was going to tell you had berries stuck between your teeth, but now I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to let you be shamed in front of all of the world. That's exciting. You can find out everything the Oldies are doing on www.andbethought.com, or you can find it all abbreviated at www.andithoughladies.com. I had a weird thought about it. No. I don't get to have weird thoughts today. Thoughts are out. Okay, moving on. You're not here to hear about us. You're here to hear about our wonderful guests. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Charles Thomas, but I go by Chuck. All my friends call me Chuck. And I'm a screenwriter, producer in the Atlanta, Georgia film industry. Other interesting facts about me, you can see behind me, soccer scarves. I love soccer. This is the only sport I watch, really. And another interesting tidbit is I went to school to be a paleontologist to study dinosaurs. But unfortunately, I was a little too dumb, so I didn't quite make it. So I decided to start writing for a living.
Do you write about dinosaurs?
Yes.
I've thought about it. I've definitely thought about it. I haven't found the right story yet, but I definitely want to because that was my first love. I did get to go on one dig out in the desert one time, and it was a lot of fun. But that was it. The math and science, I was just like, just my brain just won't quite work this way. But I still love it.
So I would like to say that I want you to think about the positive side. Let's look at this on the positive side. So you could be in the hot desert digging up dinosaur bones, or you could be on set eating at the craft table. See?
That's true. That's true. I do love the craft services table. That's true.
Yeah, and that even could be you could be shooting in the desert.
Yeah.
Near a dinosaur thing. So you couldn't have done that if you're just a paleontologist. You just been out there and had to provide your own food and drink. It'd have been boring. You wouldn't have liked it. Yeah, say something real now.
Oh, I was gonna ask, what do you write?
So my own personal stuff when I'm both with screenwriting and I've written some books too. It's a lot of science fiction, sci-fi, horror, like kind of weird stuff. But I also write for money. So when clients come to me and they say, "Hey, I've got this idea. I don't know how to turn it into a movie." Basically, it doesn't matter what the genre is. I try and make it the best I can. So that's let me write in comedy, drama, all sorts of stuff that I otherwise probably wouldn't even touch on, which has been nice because that's helped me. I feel like it's helped me grow as a writer to try that kind of stuff. Maybe I would have never written a comedy if somebody hadn't said, "Hey, I've got this great comedy," that kind of thing. So I found that I'm pretty adaptable, which has been nice.
Oh, nice. I love the part about writing for money. Excuse me while I rub my eye on camera.
What are you doing today? You're drinking. What is happening today? What is happening?
I've thrown the phone out the window for right now.
That's exactly why I don't do my podcast about indie filmmaking with video, because I'm just like, look, I'm at home, I'm in my pajamas 99% of the time, like nobody needs to see me.
Well, that's true. I mean, seriously, I do love that part about like writing, right? Yeah. So you can be home like in your pajamas and it's all fine. and you can just keep on, and yeah, that's nice. So as you, yes, Winona.
Go ahead.
No,
I had a silly point.
I was gonna say, Winona, just go ahead. Say your silly point.
My silly point is, I was just wondering, did you want to write a script pro bono for two cute little pop poets?
Anyway,
I actually do have a real question, and my real question is, how do you try to like change your brain around for writing to then go into production and stuff like that?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. Because yeah, I am a screenwriter, but then I'm also a producer. So it is kind of two different parts of my brain, I found. The screenwriting, it's definitely one of my strong points. I don't want to say it comes easy to me, but it comes more naturally to me than really anything else is writing. Producing, I found, is not, but I don't know, it taps a different part of my brain. Like I said, just organizing, I guess, is the best way to think about it. Like I know that, we have to feed everybody. We have certain shots we have to hit that day. We have to make sure everybody's safe, especially right now during COVID and everything. So there's just so much more to think about than just, what are these characters going to do? And I can kind of play around with it. You can't really play around too much with producing. There's a lot of fires you have to put out either before they happen or while they're happening, or maybe even after they're happening. That I think is producing is, it's just a lot of organizing and putting out fires. So it's almost like a left-right brain kind of situation. And I never wanted to get into producing. It just kind of fell into my lap. And then I started my production company with my co-producer, Dustin Jacobs. And then we just kind of went off to the races. And now we've got stuff on Amazon Prime and other services like that I had no idea I was going to get into this.
Isn't that fun? Because a lot of people are like, I started off as a writer. Why did they end up? So amazing.
So how does producing affect your writing? Like when you're writing a certain scene and you're like, ooh, this is the budget. Like does that like make you change it around creatively?
For sure. Oh, 100%. I mean, I just, the more stuff that I write and the more stuff that I actually make on set, I know just how everything works. And like you said about budget, I know what travel costs now. We shot a thing up in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago, a comedy special, the Eddie Pence Unspecial. And I just found out firsthand how much travel costs. It's a lot of money versus when we were shooting a series here in Atlanta. We didn't really have to worry about it. So it didn't cross our minds. So now if I shoot something that I know we can't find the location here in Atlanta, I have to figure out, well, how in the world are we going to figure out the money to pay for parking and airfare, luggage, and hotels, food, all that stuff comes up. So yeah, for sure. Even there's actually a movie we're trying to get made this year that we deliberately wrote around assets that we had, different locations that we know that we could go to so-and-so and say, hey, you remember us? We're friends. Can we shoot on your farm or whatever? And that just saves so much money. So yeah, it's definitely affected it a lot.
Nice. I love to hear how people do that, because like apparently I'm new to script writing, baby new, like just born yesterday, pretty much.
Yeah.
Screenwriting. And so I handed my script to a producer friend of mine, and they were like, oh, the money. And so now when I'm writing the second script, I'm like, oh, that person doesn't need to say, we don't need that person. But your movie still turned out wonderful. So how do you do this and run a podcast? How do you find the balance?
Well, I guess if there's a third part of my brain, it's the podcast. And I've actually been doing interviews for, back in college, I was doing music interviews. I was talking to all these bands that I've always wanted to, I grew up listening to and everything. And that kind of died out. But then once I started getting into movies and movie making and everything, I don't know. It's just something about networking that I'm really bad at networking. And the reason we started the podcast was to basically force people to sit down and be our friends for like an hour. And then that's our version of networking. My friend Molly Coffey and I started the show together, and it just kept working. I've been doing the show for like 7 years, and every week I just meet somebody that I otherwise would never talk to them. Like there's no way I would meet. I've met some of my favorite actors like Eric Roberts. I met a couple years ago. There's no way I would have been able to talk to him, but I've got a show and say, hey, come sit down with me for an hour and let's talk. So it's kind of like a third part of my brain where I'm an introvert, but apparently I'm okay at talking to people. So I feel like that's helped me with my writing too, because you meet all these colorful characters that you can then put into a script. Like I've just met so many people that have all these really interesting stories that I never would have heard over the years. So I felt like that's definitely helped me a lot.
Absolutely. We 100% agree, right?
Yeah.
Because we have a show and people come on and we like, are you sure you want to come on our show? You know it's silly, right? Like I'm just let me say this again. It's a silly show.
Now we've talked a lot about this podcast.
Yeah, but what is the name of I was gonna ask.
Go for it,
what's the name of this podcast and where can people find it?
Oh yeah. The name of the show it's called the AFC Indie Filmmaking Podcast. We just rebranded a few weeks ago from Atlanta Film Chat, and it was very focused on Atlanta and Georgia. And I still talk to a lot of Atlanta and Georgia folks because I mean that's where I live and I work. But we've expanded we joined the Indie Film Hustle Network, which is the biggest film podcast network in I guess the world. So we had to expand our reach a little bit. So now we're called the AFC Indie Filmmaking Podcast.
Nice. Now, I would love to know. Shoot, I just forgot that question.
She would love to know nothing. She would love to know nothing. That's hilarious, and I love it very much.
I remember. I'm back. All right. So I want to know, because you do your own production company, so that means you're going to put your own movies together sometimes. Do you sit in on the castings and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So for all the actors out there listening to it, what do you look for when someone comes in for an audition? That's a
great question. There's a lot of things going on the other side of the table. If you're an actor, the casting director, the film director, the screenwriter, the actor doesn't really have any control over, so you come in, you think, oh, you do this great audition, you kill it, and you think, man, that was the best audition. And it might have been, but there's about 5,000 things that you don't realize are going on with us that had nothing to do with you. You might have been the best person, but you have the other actors to worry about. Maybe you were just the lead actor is really tall and we need to counter that with someone a little shorter, and you happen to be the same height, and you can't control that. So the only thing you can really do is just do your best, audition, bring something exciting and new to the table. We've looked at some people I know just over this past year who kind of really went for it in ways that we weren't expecting, that maybe we won't use you for this project, but we'll remember you for the next project. They really shot their shot, and we thought, man, that's really admirable. This isn't right for us now, but we will remember your name. We have your email. We might get you on the next one. And of course, another thing is to really study the material, but be adaptable. Sometimes we'll say in the room, like, can you try it this way? And if you've practiced this audition like 1,000 times, maybe you feel like, oh, this is the only way I can do it. But you got to be adaptable, because it's going to happen on set. You go on set and the location changed because it rained and we have to go indoors now. Now it changes the scene entirely. And if you're not adaptable, it's just not going to work. So you gotta learn how to think on your feet 100%, because things just happen and you can't control it.
I love the points that he brought out. He definitely brought out the point of sometimes you're just not right for the role, not because of what you've done, right? Just because you're not tall enough or too tall, but then if you really do a good job, people remember you for later, and they will call you, hey, we have this new film commercial, whatever. Please come, because you really did a good job, and be adaptable.
I like to be adaptable part.
I feel like those are the 3 takeaways from that right there. It's just
it's because I'm okay. Never mind.
No,
I was about to say something, but I'm gonna cut it short.
No, yeah,
it's not fit for the camera.
Yeah. I can't. Anyway, okay. So those are really interesting points that you really did bring out, like that. Those 3 points.
And I would say even for we've had Zoom readings of scripts, because we haven't been able to shoot too much over COVID. We've had some Zoom readings, and some of the actors, you don't know who you're getting, but some of the actors that we didn't know, they came to play. Like they were just these fun readings, like, let's test this out. But they came and they studied and they nailed it, and we will remember those people when we come back to set. So always bring your A game on everything you do. 100% on.
So I love that. That's a great tip. Also,
we should record the Zoom reading so that we can hear them now.
I don't think we recorded them. No,
it
was just, I like to, especially for my stuff, I just like to hear it out loud. You know, a script doesn't really come alive until other people try to say dialogue, and you're like, oh, that's not human speech. I need to change that. So I just like to hear it out loud. So I don't think we recorded it, but maybe we'll have another one soon. I'm sure we will.
That would be really fun. So what are 3 tips that you would give a new screenwriter, a person that's really trying to test out the waters?
I'm paying attention now.
Okay. 3 tips. One, well, your first draft, everybody says this, but it's true. Your first draft, my first draft, I've written, I don't know how many scripts. Your first draft is not going to be amazing. It doesn't mean it's going to be terrible. It doesn't mean that you don't have good ideas there, but the themes aren't going to be strong. The characters are going to be all over the place. Like you said, you might have 4 characters that you can smoosh into one character that you didn't realize. It's not going to work as a script, as a shootable script on your first draft. So learn to get notes. I struggled when I started getting notes. I was like, my personality is like, don't talk to me, don't give me notes. I hate this. I had to learn how to take notes, and it's a process. 2, I think we touched a little bit. Write what you have, especially when you're really starting. Maybe you want to shoot a short. Write a script that's in the woods behind your house. If you have a family farm or something, you live in an apartment, write for that apartment or that farm or your back. You know, like there's no reason to shoot for the moon if you're just getting your feet on the ground. You've got props around your house you can use. You have people you know that can help you out. It's just, there's so many resources that you're not thinking about right now. If you want to just shoot a short or maybe a little tiny little indie feature, just use what you got. And 3, writing, they say writing is rewriting, but I'm really big on outlining because I hate rewriting. So, and I hate editing. I hate it. So I outline like crazy. I'm working on one now, on a script now that I hope to send out later this year. But I mean, I'm outlining it over and over and over again. Before I ever open final draft, before I write page 1, I outline just over and over and over again. So then when I write the script, hopefully I don't have to edit it too much, because it's absolutely my least favorite part, but it's going to end up happening anyway. But if you outline heavily, and some people don't like to do it, and I didn't like to do it either. But if you outline heavily, that editing, rewriting process is cut down significantly, I think.
Interesting. And I think that's a bane of most writers' existence.
Yeah.
Is the editing. You're like, I don't want to. I like my word choice there.
Yeah.
They be like, no one's gonna get it. Yeah.
It's true.
Take your pencil. All right.
Yep. Because it's fun. It's fun to just have all these ideas and just throw them out there and like, this is so much fun. But then at some point it becomes work. And that's when a lot of people are like, I don't know about this. But that's when the real writing starts, is like when it's work and you're like, oh God, I don't want to do this. That's when you know you're a writer, when you push through that, like, I got to do this because I believe in this vision, kind of thing.
Interesting. All right. So where can people find your podcast and more about you and your films?
Sure. Yeah. You can find information about the podcast is AFC Indie Film. That's pretty much across the board. That's the social media. That's the website. I'm on social media, FOXINC, Fox Inc. I don't tweet or post too much on the Instagram or whatever, but you can follow me. My production company is hootyhooproductions.com, and you can find our latest comedy special, the Eddie Pence Unspecial, on Amazon Prime. If you're a member, it's free for members. And my personal website is atlantascreenwriter.com, where you can find my books and my screenwriting. And it's not the best website in the world because I'm not a web designer, but I'm in the process of redoing it, so don't yell at me. But yeah, atlantascreenwriter.com, and I think that's everything.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Losing my job.
No, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks.
I actually saw you chuckling over there a few times. It's like, oh, this is good. He's having fun.
Yay, fun. Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap us up.
Jade.
You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. While you're there, take a moment, go down on the home page and go down to see the Ladies Tale podcast. Check out that, where professional actors read will know the script. All right. And then all the wonderful interviews we have on that also. And then go to the ladies tab while you're there and go down to the middle and see the charities that we probably support. And I have to say, the 25 Hottest is coming out soon.
25 Hottest Authors, Artists, and Advocates.
Indie Authors, Artists, and Advocate magazine will be coming out soon. So keep checking out for that. All right.
And I think that's it. Right?
Yeah. So wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Will No.
And Jade. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.